Okay, so today we're going to go over expression vocabulary. This is what we did April 4th, Monday. We'll just go ahead and jump into it. First off, this is going to be a long set of notes, and we start with what an expression is. An expression is just a math problem or a set of operations with no answer. That means none of these five symbols will appear in the problem. They are not equal to anything, greater than, or less than, or anything like that. These problems can be simplified or evaluated, but not solved. The big thing about expressions is there will never be a solution, but you can evaluate them or simplify them. Moving on from there, we have a variable. Now, a variable is an unknown value that is usually represented by a lowercase letter. Uppercase letters tend to stand for something else. For example, uppercase A means area, uppercase B means base, and so on and so on. Two examples here. These are two expressions, by the way, so no equal sign. We have 2x plus 4, and that x is the variable. Likewise, over here we have 2 plus rectangle equals 5, and in this case, this would be a variable. Now, this down here, in case you want to know, since we have an equal sign, this would be called an equation, not an expression. Let's go ahead and look at the next definition, which is an operation followed by a constant. So an operation, these are addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. In the case of 2x plus 4, the plus sign is our operation. A constant in a math problem is any number that does not have a variable. So in this case, we have 2x plus 4. The 4 is our constant. It does not have a variable, and that's what makes it a constant. The opposite of a constant would be called a coefficient. Now, a coefficient is any number with a variable. In this case, the number 2 is our coefficient. Now, the 2 is our coefficient. 2x is not a coefficient. These two combined is called a term. And a term is a section of an expression or equation, usually separated by addition or subtraction. So down here, we have 2x, this is one term, and it's being separated by this plus sign from this other term, which is a 4. A term can consist of two things stuck side by side, or it could be just one thing all by itself. After terms, we have something called a like term. Now, like terms, these are terms which have either the same variable or no variables at all. So, for example, in this expression, we have 2x minus 7 plus 4x. The terms 2x and 4x would be considered like terms. That is because they both have an x. Now, if I also included something like minus 3, then the minus 3 and the minus 7 would be considered like terms because they don't have variables at all. Okay? So that was it for our definitions. Our homework for tonight was to create an expression and label its parts. So you can see here my example for the class. The expression was supposed to have at least 4 terms. So we see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. There must be at least 2 like terms, and I labeled them here. 6m and 4m are both like terms. They must have 3 variables. They don't have to be different, and since there are like terms, naturally 2 of them must be the same. So 1, 2, and 3 variables. 1 constant, I chose the number 10. 3 operations, plus, minus, plus, and 1 coefficient at least. So I put a coefficient both for this number and this number. And I labeled all of the parts. So we have our coefficient, variable, operation, coefficient, variable, operation, a constant, an operation, a variable, all 4 of my terms, and my 2 like terms paired together. And that is what we covered today in class. So you can skip around in this video, go back and forth, pause it to make sure you get the notes, and that's it for today.